The world does not want you to own your morning. It wants your fear. It wants your attention. It wants your reaction. Think about the very first thing you do when you wake up. You reach for that glowing rectangle on your nightstand. You check the news. You check your emails. You check the social media feeds that make you feel like you are already behind. In that exact moment you unlock your phone, you have already lost the war. You have invited 1,000 strangers into your bedroom to tell you how to feel before you have even taken your first breath. This is the hijacking of your dawn. It is a systematic theft of your focus. Most people live in this state of constant defense. They are reacting to the world instead of leading their own lives. They are slaves to the digital noise. But there is a different way to exist. Imagine if you could install a cognitive firewall before you even step out of bed. Imagine a mental shield so strong that no headline and no stressful message could penetrate it. This is not about finding a fleeting sense of peace. This is about establishing total sovereignty over your own mind. The ancient masters knew this secret. They understood that the mind is a fortress that must be guarded at all costs. If you are tired of being a leaf blown by the wind, then you are ready for something deeper. You are ready to reclaim your throne and dictate the terms of your reality. But how do we build this defense? The answer lies in a hidden science of the mind, the science of the masters. Neuroplasticity in the atrium modern science confirms what the ancient masters practiced in the shadows of the Roman Empire. Your brain is most vulnerable and most receptive during the first 15 minutes of your day. This is the critical window where your cortisol levels spike in what biologists call the cortisol awakening response. This biological surge is designed to prepare you for the challenges of the world, but in the modern age it has been hijacked by the digital landscape. If you fill this 15-minute window with digital chaos and competition, you are programming your nervous system for a day of perpetual anxiety and reactive behavior. Your neurons are literally forming connections based on the first stimulus they receive. The Stoics called the ruling faculty of the mind the hegemonikon. This is your inner command center and your primary filter for reality. Marcus Aurelius teaches us that we will meet with the busybody and the ungrateful and the arrogant and the envious and the unsocial. He knew that the only way to survive the day with his soul intact was to prepare the hegemonikon before the battle began. These men were not just philosophers sitting in marble halls, they were the original software engineers of human consciousness. They understood that the mind has a source code that can be rewritten, and that the entry point to that code is the morning atrium of the soul. In a Roman house, the atrium was the first room anyone would see when they entered. It was the place where the outside world met the private sanctuary. If the atrium was guarded, the house was safe. Your mind works the same way. By choosing specific words and thoughts in that initial window of neuroplasticity, you are not just thinking, you are performing a complete system upgrade. You are setting the threshold for what can and cannot disturb your peace. Science shows that when you take control of this period, you lower your baseline stress for the next 12 hours. You move from a state of reactive survival to a state of executive power where you are the one making the decisions. These 9 words we are about to discuss are the lines of code that protect your ruling faculty from being corrupted by external opinions and random events. They create a buffer between the stimulus of the world and your internal response. Without this buffer, you are merely a puppet of your environment, dancing to the rhythm of every notification and every headline. With it, you are the architect of your own character and the captain of your own ship. We are going to look at how to hardwire this into your biological hardware so it becomes an automatic reflex. Your brain is literally waiting for the instructions you provide in those first few moments after waking. If you leave it to chance, the world will provide the instructions for you, and the world does not have your best interests at heart. It wants you distracted and fearful. It is time to look at the 9 words that serve as the keys to your internal kingdom. The revelation of the 9 words. The command mantra. The moment has arrived to look at the 9 words that will serve as your mental armor for the rest of your life. These are not suggestions or polite pieces of advice. They are commands that you issue to your own soul every single morning. Sustain and abstain. Control your mind. Master your life. Let us break this down because the weight of these words carries the strength of centuries and the wisdom of men who face the greatest pressures known to humanity. The first three words come from a man who was born a slave and died a master of himself. Epictetus taught that the foundation of a free life is the ability to endure and to renounce. He reminds us that for every challenge we face, we have the power to turn inward and find the necessary strength to meet it. To sustain means to hold your ground when the pressure of the world tries to crush you. It is the grit to keep going when you are tired and the world demands more of you. It is the resilience of a professional who stays focused during a corporate crisis, or a parent who remains calm during a family emergency. To abstain means to have the discipline to say no to the distractions and the temptations that lead you away from your purpose. If you cannot control your impulses, you are not a free person. You are a puppet of your own desires and the digital noise designed to keep you addicted. Next, we have the core of the Roman Emperor philosophy. Control your mind. Marcus Aurelius sat at the head of the known world with the power of life and death over millions, yet he knew his only true power was internal. He writes that the mind which is free from passions is a fortress. He calls it the inner citadel. When you speak the words control your mind, you are reminding yourself that you are the captain of your judgments. You cannot control the weather or the stock market or the opinions of your neighbors, but you can control what you think about them. This is the only path to true stability in an unstable world. This is the code that allows you to remain calm while everyone around you is in a state of panic. The concluding part of the mantra comes from the statesman Seneca. Master your life. Seneca understood that we do not have a short time to live, but we waste a lot of it. He tells us that life is long enough, and a sufficiently generous amount has been given to us for the highest achievements if it is all well invested. Mastering your life is the direct result of the first 6 words. It is the realization that your existence is your greatest work of art, and you are the artist. You do not let life happen to you, you happen to life. These 9 words are a rhythmic cadence for your soul designed to be a 3x3 structure that is easy to remember and impossible to break. When you wake up and speak these words, you are aligning yourself with the greatest minds in history. You are not just a person waking up for another day of mundane tasks, you are a philosopher preparing to rule his own domain. This is how you win the day before the world even has a chance to fight you. You are building a mental operating system that is immune to the viruses of modern stress. But words are only powerful if they survive the friction of reality. You need to see how this code performs when things go wrong and the pressure is on. It is easy to be a philosopher in the quiet of the morning, but the real test is the noise of the afternoon. We must see how these 9 words behave when they are pushed to the limit in a real-world simulation. The stress test, the combat simulation of philosophy, is only as good as its performance under pressure. It is easy to feel powerful and centered in a quiet room, but the real test of your character happens in the friction and the noise of your daily life. Imagine you are at your desk and a notification flashes on your screen. It is a message from a client or a manager filled with unfair criticism and passive-aggressive undertones. Your chest immediately tightens and your heart rate accelerates. Your first instinct is to fire back an aggressive reply to protect your ego and prove them wrong. Stop. This is the exact moment you execute the protocol. Sustain and abstain. You sustain the impact of the words without allowing them to penetrate your inner citadel. You abstain from the immediate and destructive impulse to lash out. You recognize that their opinion is an external event that you do not own and cannot change. Marcus Aurelius writes that if you take away the complaint that you have been harmed, then the harm itself is taken away. You control your mind by deciding that your worth is not defined by an inbox or the temporary mood of another person. You master your life by choosing a professional and measured response later when your logic has returned and your emotions have settled. You have just won the first battle of the day by refusing to be a slave to someone else's provocation. Now imagine you are stuck in heavy traffic on your way to an appointment that matters. You are running late and someone cuts you off without a signal, nearly causing an accident. The temptation to scream or lean on the horn or let the rage ruin your entire morning is intense. Use the code. Sustain and abstain. You sustain the reality of the delay because you cannot move the cars in front of you. You abstain from the useless rage that only serves to ruin your own health and cloud your judgment. Epictetus reminds us that some things are within our power while others are not. The flow of traffic is not in your power, but your judgment of the situation is entirely yours. You control your mind by using that time to reflect or listen to something that grows your intellect, or simply practicing the silence that the world tries to take from you. You master your life by arriving at your destination with your dignity and your peace of mind intact because you refuse to let a stranger in a different car dictate your emotional state. Think of the final scenario of a typical day. You walk through your front door and you are absolutely exhausted from the weight of your responsibilities. You are met with a frustrated comment or a demand from a family member who is also having a difficult day. The fuse is short and the room is tense. It would be so easy to snap back and start an argument that lasts all night. Sustain and abstain. You sustain the discomfort of your own exhaustion. You abstain from the cycle of verbal combat that creates a rift in your home. Seneca states that the greatest remedy for anger is delay. You control your mind by pausing for 3 seconds before you speak and asking yourself if your words will build or destroy. You master your life by being the pillar of strength your family needs instead of being another source of chaos. This is how you turn theory into character. This is how you become unbreakable in the face of the storms that life throws at you every single day. You are not just reacting, you are choosing. But there is one final piece to this puzzle that ensures this power never leaves you. We must look at how to lock this mindset into your identity so that it becomes your default state of being and your permanent source of sovereignty. The Citadel's oath, the final sovereignty. Tomorrow morning the sun will rise and the world will be waiting for you at the gates. It will be armed with the same distractions and the same anxieties and the same pressures that it used against you yesterday. But you are no longer the person you were 24 hours ago. You now possess a psychological armor that most people do not even know exists, and you carry the wisdom of the ages in your pocket. You have the code: sustain and abstain. Control your mind, master your life. These 9 words are not just a morning ritual or a simple mantra to be repeated. They are the very foundation of your new identity as a self-governed individual. You have spent far too many years reacting to the demands of others and the whims of fate and the chaos of the digital world. That cycle ends today. Marcus Aurelius writes that the soul of a man is a sphere that is true to itself when it does not reach out for what is external, and when it is not distracted by the noise and the light and the shadows of the world around it. You have built that sphere within yourself. You have constructed your inner citadel through the power of your own choice and the application of your own discipline. When you step out into the world tomorrow, you will not be looking for permission to be happy or seeking validation from strangers on the internet or colleagues in your office. You will be operating from a position of absolute internal power because you have decided that your worth is non-negotiable. This is the fundamental difference between surviving your day and owning your day. Most people are walking through their lives in a trance of reactivity, but you have finally woken up to your own potential. Finally, you have everything you need to become the architect of your own character and the master of your own destiny. You have installed the cognitive firewall that protects your most valuable asset, which is your attention. Tomorrow the world will try to invade your mind again. It will try to use your boss and your bills and your insecurities and the news cycle against you. Let them try. You have the code and you have the spirit of the ancient masters standing behind you in every decision you make. If you are committed to this protocol and you are ready to take command of your morning starting tomorrow, then I want you to do one thing to seal this oath. Type the words "command accepted" in the comments below right now. By doing this, you are not just interacting with a video, you are signing your own internal contract and joining a legion of individuals who refuse to be victims of their circumstances. We are building a community of people who lead with reason and act with virtue, even when the world is burning around them. Do not let this be just another video that you watch and then immediately forget as you scroll to the next distraction. Let this be the day you drew a line in the sand and decided that your mind belongs to you and to no one else. Your life is yours. Your morning is yours. Your peace is yours. This is the sovereignty you were born to possess as a rational being in a chaotic universe. Keep the code close to your heart and let it be the first thing you hear when you open your eyes every single day. The transition from slave to master is not a single event, but a daily practice of these 9 words applied with courage and persistence. I will see you at the next dawn, standing tall and unshakable in the citadel. The philosopher's legacy, a final word of empowerment, one last thing to remember before you go out and face the world today. This protocol is not a magic spell, and it is not a temporary fix for your problems. It is a lifelong commitment to a specific way of being and a constant refinement of your own character. Marcus Aurelius writes that we should waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be and simply be one. You now have the words, and you have the science, and you have the examples of how to apply them. Now you must have the courage to apply them when the world is screaming for your attention and your peace is being threatened by the noise of modern life. This script is your guide, but your life is the laboratory where the true work happens. Every morning is a new chance to install the firewall, and every challenge is a new chance to test the code against the friction of reality. You are not searching for a life without trouble or a path without obstacles. You are building a mind that is superior to trouble and a spirit that is stronger than any obstacle. Seneca teaches us that a person who has never been challenged is like a soldier who has never seen battle, and they can never truly know their own strength. Do not fear the chaos of the morning or the difficulties of the afternoon. Use them as the training ground for your sovereignty and your growth. Finally, you have everything you need to become the architect of your own character and the master of your own destiny in a world that is constantly trying to steal your power. You have installed the 9 words, and you have claimed your seat in the inner citadel. Tomorrow when the sun rises, you will not be a victim of your circumstances, but a leader of your own soul. You will wake up with the command on your lips and the discipline in your heart. You will sustain what is difficult, and you will abstain from what is useless. You will control your mind so that you can master your life. This is the legacy of the masters, and it is now your legacy to carry forward into every moment of your existence. You are no longer drifting with the tide, but navigating with a compass that has been tested for over 2,000 years. Carry this strength with you, and let your actions be the proof of your philosophy. The transition from a state of reactivity to a state of absolute command is now complete. Go forth and rule your day with the quiet confidence of a philosopher king. The Senate is dismissed. The living philosophy, beyond the morning ritual. The true depth of this practice is revealed not in the quiet moments of the morning, but in the heat of your most difficult afternoons. It is one thing to speak the code when your house is silent and your coffee is warm, but it is another thing entirely to embody the code when your world is falling apart. To live as a philosopher means to understand that every single moment is an opportunity to practice virtue and to exercise your ruling faculty. You are not just a person who follows a morning routine, you are a person who has adopted a new way of seeing the entire universe. The ancient masters did not view their philosophy as a set of rules to be followed, but as a living, breathing shield that they carried into every interaction. This requires a level of awareness that most people never achieve in their entire lives. You must become the observer of your own thoughts and the judge of your own impressions. When a thought enters your mind, you must greet it at the door and ask for its credentials. You must ask if this thought is based on something within your control or something external that you should ignore. This constant vigilance is what separates the master from the slave. As Epictetus teaches us, you must first decide what you want to be and then do what you have to do. This decision is not made once but 1,000 times every single day. Every time you choose patience over anger or focus over distraction, you are reinforcing the structure of your inner citadel. You are telling the universe that you are no longer a victim of its whims, but a co-creator of your own experience. For the professional in the middle of their career or the parent raising a family, this mindset is the ultimate competitive advantage. It allows you to stay calm when everyone else is reacting emotionally and to see solutions where others only see problems. You are building a legacy of stability and reason that will influence everyone around you. You become the eye of the storm. This is the long-term power of the 9 words. They shift your baseline from a state of constant survival to a state of permanent sovereignty. You begin to realize that the obstacles in your path are not stopping you, but are actually showing you the way forward. The very things that used to cause you stress now become the raw material for your growth. You are no longer afraid of the future because you know that you have the internal resources to meet whatever it brings. This is the ultimate freedom that the Masters promised us. It is a freedom that cannot be given by a government or taken away by an employer. It is a freedom that you claim for yourself every time you look at the world and say that your mind is yours. Carry this awareness into every meeting and every conversation and every moment of silence. You are the guardian of your own peace and the commander of your own life. The code is now part of who you are. The journey of the philosopher is a path that never ends, but it is the only path that leads to a life of true meaning and unshakable power. Stay focused on the ruling faculty and never forget that you are the one who decides how the story ends. The architect of the future, compounding mental capital. The secret to a life of extraordinary power is not found in a single heroic act, but in the quiet compounding of your daily choices. You have already begun the process of installing the 9 words into your morning routine, but you must understand that this is only the beginning of a much larger construction project. You are the architect of your own future, and every time you use the code, you are laying another stone in the foundation of your character. The ancient masters did not become unshakable overnight, and they did not expect perfection from themselves or from their students. They focused on the concept of making progress. Marcus Aurelius discusses the difficulty of getting out of bed and facing the world. He reminds himself that he is rising to do the work of a human being, and that his nature requires him to contribute to the whole. When you speak your 9 words tomorrow morning, you are accepting that same responsibility. You are deciding that your life is worth the effort of discipline, and that your mind is worth the effort of protection. Think about the version of yourself that exists 1 year from today if you never miss a single morning of this protocol. Imagine the level of clarity and the degree of focus that you will possess. After 365 days of sustaining and abstaining and controlling your mind, you will be operating on a level of consciousness that is completely foreign to the average person who is still stuck in the cycle of reactivity and fear. This is how you build mental capital. You are investing in your own sovereignty every single morning, and the dividends are paid in the form of peace and resilience and executive power. This practice transforms the way you view time and the way you view your own potential. You stop looking for shortcuts and you start looking for the depth of your own character. Epictetus often taught that no great thing is created suddenly any more than a bunch of grapes or a fig. If you tell me that you want a fig, I will answer you that there must be time. Let it first blossom, then bear fruit, then ripen. Your mind is the same. You must allow the 9 words to blossom in your consciousness before you can expect to see the full fruit of your sovereignty. Do not be discouraged if you face days where the world seems too loud or your discipline seems too weak. These are the moments when the construction is most important. You simply return to the code, and you begin again. You are building a legacy that will outlast the temporary stresses of your current situation. You are becoming a person who is capable of leading others because you have first learned to lead yourself. The future belongs to those who own their own attention and those who have the courage to guard their own morning. You are now one of those people. Carry this knowledge with you like a hidden treasure and let it guide every action you take from this moment forward. You are the master of the code, and the code is the key to your freedom. The unshakable identity. From action to essence, this journey you have embarked upon is not merely about changing your morning, it is about changing the very fabric of who you are and how you relate to the universe. We have moved through the science of your brain and the revelation of the 9 words and the testing of those words in the fire of your daily life. Now we must address the final transformation, which is the shift from doing a practice to being the philosophy itself. There is a profound difference between a person who recites words and a person whose every action is the embodiment of those words. As you continue to speak this code every single dawn, you are slowly stripping away the reactive layers of your old self. You are shedding the skin of the person who was easily offended and easily distracted and easily defeated by the trivialities of the world. Marcus Aurelius warns us not to waste the remaining part of our lives in thoughts about other people unless it is for some high purpose of the community. He knew that the greatest thief of our internal power is the habit of looking outward for our sense of peace or our sense of worth. By choosing to control your mind, you are reclaiming all that wasted energy and reinvesting it into your own character. You are becoming a person of substance and weight in a world that is increasingly light and superficial. Seneca writes that the wise man is self-sufficient and that he carries all his goods within himself. This does not mean you do not love your family or care about your work, but it means that your fundamental happiness is no longer a hostage to their success or their failure. You have found a source of strength that is independent of the external environment. This is the essence of the 9 words. When you sustain and abstain, you are not just exercising willpower, you are defining the borders of your own soul. You are deciding what belongs to you and what belongs to the world. Epictetus explains that the only thing that can truly defeat a human being is their own choice. If you choose to be invincible, you are invincible. This is the ultimate promise of the 9 words. They are the tools you use to carve your own invincibility out of the raw material of your life. As this identity takes hold, you will notice a shift in how others perceive you. They will see a person who is calm in the face of chaos and focused in the face of distraction. They will see a person who does not need to shout to be heard or to complain to be understood. You become a living example of what is possible when a human being takes total sovereignty over their own mind. You are no longer just a viewer of a video, you are a practitioner of a high art. You are the guardian of the code, and the code is the key to your eternal freedom. Carry this identity with you into every room you enter and every challenge you face. You are the master of the 9 words, and you are the master of your life. Every morning you wake up and repeat this mantra, you are casting a vote for the person you want to become. You are building a mental operating system that is so robust that it can withstand any crisis. The noise of the world becomes a background hum that no longer has the power to pull you away from your center. You have replaced the habit of reaction with the habit of command. This is not a destination that you reach and then stop. It is a continuous unfolding of your own potential. You are now the captain of your soul and the master of your destiny. Carry this power with you and never let it go, because it is the only thing that is truly yours. The transition from action to essence is the highest achievement of any human life, and you have already taken the first steps toward that peak. You are the guardian of your own citadel, and your fortress is now unbreakable. The mastered presence. Impacting the world through silence, the mastery of your own mind is the greatest gift you can give to those around you, because your internal peace becomes their external refuge. When you truly embody the 9 words, you are no longer just a person with a morning routine, you are a lighthouse in a storm. For your family and your colleagues and your community. Marcus Aurelius reminds us that we should not be surprised when the world acts according to its nature, but we should be surprised if we allow ourselves to be disturbed by it. As you walk through your day with the inner citadel firmly established, you will notice that your silence carries more weight than the shouting of others. You have developed the ability to sustain the pressure of leadership and the weight of heavy responsibility without breaking, and you have learn to abstain from the petty conflicts that drain the energy of lesser men. This internal control radiates outward and creates a field of stability that others can feel. You are no longer just managing your own mind, you are influencing the very atmosphere of the rooms you enter. People will begin to look to you for guidance, not because you have all the answers, but because you have the one thing they lack, which is a centered and unshakable presence. Control your mind, and you will find that the world begins to organize itself around your clarity. Master your life, and you will find that you have the power to help others master theirs through the simple strength of your example. This is the true meaning of the Stoic duty to the human fellowship. We do not build our fortresses to hide from the world, but to serve as a stronghold of reason within it. Seneca writes that the highest good is a mind that despises the accidents of fortune and takes pleasure in virtue. When you take pleasure in the simple act of your own self-governance, you become immune to the manipulations of the market and the trends of the hour. You become a person of character in a time when character is the rarest of all commodities. This is your final form as a practitioner of the 9 words. You have moved beyond the morning ritual and into a state of continuous being, where every breath and every action is a testament to your freedom. Carry this presence with you as a heavy shield and a sharp sword. Use it to protect the peace of your home and the focus of your work. You are no longer a victim of the hijacking of the dawn or the stress of the day. You are the architect of a new way of living that honors the rational nature of the human soul. The path is now clear, and the code is your constant companion. Keep the fire of the inner citadel burning bright, and never allow the noise of the external world to extinguish your internal light. This is the sovereignty you were born to achieve through the power of your own will. The eternal return, resilience as a living command, the true measure of your progress is found in your ability to begin again every single morning without resentment or fatigue. Every sunrise is not just a new day, but a total reset of your mental environment and a fresh opportunity to claim your sovereignty over your own thoughts and actions. Marcus Aurelius writes that your principles are living things, and they only die if the impressions that support them are extinguished. By repeating your 9 words every morning, you are breathing life into these principles and preventing them from becoming cold theory that is easily forgotten. In the heat of a crisis, sustain and abstain. Control your mind, master your life. This is the eternal return of the Stoic warrior. You must understand that the world will never stop testing you, and it will never stop trying to find a crack in your armor or a weakness in your resolve. The goal is not to reach a state where you are never challenged, but to reach a state where the challenge itself is welcomed as the essential fuel for your growth and your mastery. Seneca teaches us that the person who has seen no misfortune is a person who has never been tested, and they can never truly know their own capacity or their own strength. When you wake up and speak the code, you are essentially telling the universe that you are ready for whatever it has in store for you, because your internal state is no longer dependent on external conditions. You are choosing to love your fate, regardless of whether it brings success or difficulty, because you know that your internal sovereignty is the only thing that remains constant in a changing world. This is what the ancients called amor fati, which is the love of one's destiny. It is the realization that everything that happens to you is a perfect opportunity to practice the 9 words and to refine your character. If you face a delay, you practice sustaining the frustration without letting it ruin your mood. If you face a temptation, you practice abstaining from the impulse that would lead you away from your purpose. If you face a crisis, you practice controlling your mind so that you can master the situation with logic instead of emotion. This cycle of daily rebirth is what builds the deep resilience that most people never achieve because they are too busy wishing for an easier life. You are no longer living for the weekend or for a future where things are magically resolved. You are living for the present moment, where you are the master of your own soul and the commander of your own actions. This resilience becomes a living command that dictates how you walk and how you talk and how you interact with every person you meet. You become a person of depth and weight who cannot be easily moved by the opinions of others. The 9 words are the anchor that keeps you from being swept away by the changing tides of culture and digital noise. You are building a life that is based on the eternal laws of nature rather than the temporary trends of the world. As you continue this practice, you will find that the boundary between the morning ritual and the rest of your life begins to disappear entirely. The code becomes the constant background music of your consciousness and the filter through which you view every event. Every morning you have the chance to confirm this truth and to set the tone for another day of excellence. The fortress of your mind is only as strong as your willingness to defend it every single day without fail. You are the architect of this resilience, and you are the commander of this living philosophy. Carry the 9 words into the silence of the dawn and the noise of the day with equal conviction. You are the master of the code, and the code is the master of the day. The architect's completion, a life of total sovereignty. You have reached the final gate of this digital citadel, and you are now equipped with a mental technology that has survived the rise and fall of empires. This journey is not ending here, because the true work begins every time you open your eyes and face a world that is desperate for your attention. You have learned to see the morning as a sacred space for the calibration of your soul. You have understood the neurobiology of your own reactivity, and you have replaced it with the logic of the ancient masters. Sustain and abstain. Control your mind. Master your life. These 9 words are the code that separates the leaders from the led and the free from the enslaved. Marcus Aurelius writes that you must waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be and simply be one. This is the ultimate command. You do not need more books or more videos or more external validation to start living with sovereignty. You only need the discipline to apply what you now know when the pressure is high and the noise is loud. Seneca reminds us that it is the mark of a great man not to allow any of his time to be stolen from him. Your time and your attention are the most valuable currencies you possess, and you have finally learned how to guard them with an iron will. You are no longer the person who wakes up and immediately surrenders their peace to a notification or a headline. You are the architect of your own character, and you are the commander of your own morning. This philosophy is now a part of your identity, and it will guide you through every traffic jam and every difficult conversation and every corporate crisis that you encounter. You have built a fortress within yourself that cannot be breached by the opinions of strangers or the chaos of the economy. If you are truly committed to this path and you are ready to embody this sovereignty every single day, then I want you to make it official right now. Type the words "command accepted" in the comments below to seal this oath with yourself and this community of practitioners. By doing this, you are announcing to the universe that you are in control of your own destiny. You are joining a legion of individuals who refuse to be victims of their circumstances and who choose to lead with reason and virtue. Do not let the fire you have felt during this video fade away as soon as the screen goes dark. Carry it into your sleep and let it be the first thing that ignites when you wake up tomorrow. Your mind is your own, and your life is the result of your judgments. Stay focused and stay disciplined, and never forget that you have the power to reshape your reality with just 9 words. This is the sovereignty you were born for, and it is yours to keep for as long as you have the courage to defend it. The transition is complete, and your new life as a master of yourself has begun. Keep the code close and let it be your compass in the dark. I will see you at the next dawn, standing tall and unshakable in the center of your own citadel. The Senate is finally dismissed. The final proclamation, the sovereignty of the morning finally. We have reached the moment where the words must stop and the action must begin. You have traveled through the philosophy and the science and the strategy of a mind that refuses to be conquered. You are standing at the threshold of a new existence where the first 15 minutes of your day are no longer a space for anxiety, but a sanctuary for your sovereignty. Everything we have discussed comes down to the choice you will make when the sun rises tomorrow. Will you reach for the distractions of the world, or will you reach for the strength of your own character? Marcus Aurelius writes that you can enjoy all the things you seek by a long circuit if you do not grudge them to yourself, and if you leave all the past behind and entrust the future to providence and direct the present alone to piety and justice. This is the ultimate secret of the 9 words. They allow you to seize the present moment and make it your own. Sustain and abstain. Control your mind. Master your life. These 9 words are the seal on your internal fortress. When you speak them tomorrow morning, you are not just saying a phrase, you are issuing a decree that you are the sole governor of your internal state. You are deciding that no headline and no social media feed and no external pressure has the right to enter your mind without your permission. This is the true definition of a master. Seneca reminds us that it is the mark of a great man and one who has risen above human errors not to allow any of his time to be filched from him. Your morning has been filched for too long by a world that profits from your distraction. That era of your life is now over. You have installed the firewall, and you have claimed the throne of your own consciousness. If you are truly ready to live this way, and to join the ranks of those who own their own attention, then I want you to make your commitment visible. Type the words "command accepted" in the comments below right now. This is more than just a comment on a video, it is a digital signature on the contract of your own freedom. It is a signal to yourself and to the community that you are no longer a leaf blown by the wind, but a pillar of reason in a chaotic age. We are building a legacy of individuals who lead themselves first, so that they may lead others with wisdom and virtue. The world needs people who are unshakable and focused and calm in the storm. It needs people like you. When you wake up tomorrow, do not hesitate. Do not look for the phone, look for the code. Speak it into the silence of your room and feel the power of the ancient masters flowing through your veins. You are the architect of your character, and you are the master of your destiny. Every morning is a victory waiting to be claimed. This journey does not end here, it simply transitions into the reality of your daily life. Keep the citadel guarded and keep the 9 words active in your mind at all times. You are free and you are powerful, and you are the master of your life. The Senate is dismissed.